let's talk about some Sam coins, y'all. Let's talk about SBF, FTX, and Alameda, and the interwoven connectedness of those three entities, as illustrated here in a nice report from a team that does social media analytics. They found that several Alameda-linked coins, aka Sam coins, were pumped by Twitter bots immediately after their FTX listing. So anyway, this sort of shows the interwoven nature of FTX and Alameda, where some of the incentives weren't really properly aligned for those in the space, but were properly aligned for Alameda, the hedge fund, to make a lot of money on some pretty low float tokens that have historically not performed well at all. So that's the finding as presented here by this research report. I'm going to toss it straight to Danny for his thoughts. Danny, what do you think? Just another detail in an unfolding saga, or something new and substantive?
Oh, I think this is not substantive at all, right? This is really just traders trying to take any indication of a pump, seize upon it, make some money, right? If you've got anything to do with FTX, anything linked to FTX is going to go up just because it's in the news. And so that's what you see here. Because FTX is back in the news with this listing, any Alameda-linked token, maybe that's Serum, maybe that's Saber, a whole bunch of different ones are out there, is going to go up just because there's more eyeballs on it. So I don't really think that this provides any long-term value. It's really just a short-term opportunity to make some money. David, what about you? What do you think on this?
Well, my first question is, we're showing a render chart there. Is render something that Alameda was big in? Anybody know? It's not. Anyway, that's a tangential question, but no, I think that my initial takeaway here is, I think this is a good demonstration of the limits of artificial intelligence. If you've got Twitter bots, or, I guess they're talking about Twitter bots, but also if you're doing algorithmic trading and people are trading on the Twitter bots that are pumping this stuff, maybe somebody will make some money off the pump, but a lot of people are also going to lose money because, these bots don't necessarily understand the real world subtleties of everything that's going on. But also, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this, except that, yeah, it's the same as it ever was. People are playing stupid games, and some people will win real prizes. But I mean, the Alameda tokens, in the sense of like FTT and the internal projects, like, those are dead. I think it's safe to say. So if you're in those tokens, you're just gambling. I can't speak to why we had a render chart there, though. Zach?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, like, some of these allegations are not especially new, right? I think this was sort of an open secret, right? That Alameda was sort of trading its own book relative to FTX listings. And again, that sort of incestuous relationship between FTX and Alameda led ultimately to the downfall of both firms, right? And I think this was something that existed for a while now, that people have been talking about, at least, and there's some data to support that, because you'd see Alameda doing major investments in early stage token projects, getting those allocations. Somehow there would be a listing on FTX in short order, boosting those positions again. And now we're seeing that some of that was aided seemingly by some Twitter bot activity. Will, toss it to you though.
Yeah, definitely just following up on what you're talking about there. I don't think it's any surprise to people at this point that there was absolutely zero firewall between Alameda Research and FTX. The fact that FTX was listing tokens and then immediately having Alameda already be holding the bags or be pushing them on Twitter isn't surprising to anyone. The Twitter bot campaigns, it's part of crypto, right? If you're not familiar with that, well, now you are. If there's a token you're seeing on crypto Twitter that's being talked about, there's a lot of hashtags for it, well, there's definitely a chance that someone has an interest in you purchasing that, and then perhaps them dumping on you later once they find it a good time. This is a pretty normal campaign. And for FTX and Alameda to be engaged with this, I think just adds more power to the punch that, although these allegations are not done yet, and we still have to go to court, we still have to see how all that works out, there was a lot of slime and a lot of scammy tactics underneath Alameda and FTX in order to get more people in the door for these retail bags. I think it just kind of goes to the heart of the case that the SEC is bringing up right now as well, right? The SEC is concerned about retail investors who are getting suckered into these games because they don't know what's going on. In the SEC's purview, they're probably unsophisticated. They see something online, they see it trending, they might purchase a little bit of it, and then a few days later, all the liquidity has been pulled out from it. And I think that's something that, going back to Ball token, we just saw, right? A lot of people wanted to purchase the Ball token because it was trending on Twitter for a little bit. There was a lot of hype around it. But within a few days, all the liquidity was pulled from the project itself, and people went from a lot of money to no money very quickly, while others profited on top of it. And I think this just, again, goes to the problem with crypto and the problem with these off-sea exchanges that the SEC is trying to hammer down on top of. I think we've been fairly critical of the SEC in a lot of the times we've talked about them on the Hash, but in other instances, you look at stuff like this and you're thinking, well, I kind of wish that a government regulator would come in here and hammer them a bit more so we wouldn't see more of this activity. It's kind of hard to put these two things together with like the libertarian strains within crypto, and then also like the ways that we see people get harmed on the retail market. David?
Yeah, just to follow up on my previous comments, I had somebody clarify for me that, this was listing non-Alameda associated, non-FTX associated tokens like Render, and then, the Twitter bots were pumping it. So just to kind of repeat my previous point, like Twitter is not a great signal necessarily for long-term investments. I guess let's put it that way. If you're willing to speed trade and get in and out and ride pumps, and you know how to do that, I guess play the game. But if you're looking for investments, this is not the way to go, because things like this happen all the time.
Amen. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.